So far, it has been former Vice President Dick Cheney who has been leading the defense of the Bush administration against the charge that when they authorized the torture of prisoners, they broke the law and they should therefore be prosecuted. Honestly, Vice President Cheney's popularity is such that he probably could not sell ants to hungry anteaters right now, which might explain why calls to prosecute Bush officials have been growing and not fading away since he's been leading the defense. But now Condoleeza Rice is weighing in as well, perhaps inadvertently, as she was caught on tape responding to persistent questioning from a student at Stanford University. Check it out.
And I just said, the United States was told, we were told, nothing that violates our obligations under the Convention Against Torture. And so, by definition, if it was authorized by the President, it did not violate our obligations under the Convention Against Torture.
A special thanks to our friends at the Young Turks for making that tape available to us. Condoleeza Rice essentially says there that the President said it was legal, so it was legal. Condoleeza Rice is choosing to ditto the most ill-conceived, notorious, damning, self-incriminating, failed self-defense to charges of high crimes and misdemeanors ever offered by a woebegone American politician.
Well, when the President does it, that means that it is not illegal.
By definition.
Exactly.
Exactly. That was 1977. Richard Nixon being questioned by David Frost from behind the comforting shield of a pardon that had been provided to him by his successor, Gerald Ford. 22 years later, no such pardons have been offered to Bush administration officials, and the clamor for criminal investigations continues. Today, 61 anti-torture protesters were arrested outside the White House, part of a larger group demanding the immediate closure of the prison at Guantanamo. Republicans today released a Bush and Cheney-style fear-up video implying that the planned closure of Guantanamo should make Americans feel unsafe. In the midst of this political hurly-burly, one legal case was resolved today. It was resolved with a man's day in court and a guilty plea, a means of bringing criminal cases to an end that didn't used to be nearly so controversial. Joining us now is Michael Isikoff, MSNBC contributor and investigative correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Mike, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hi, Rachel.
So Ali al-Marri is the man whose case ended in a guilty plea today. And it seems like what's maybe most remarkable about the plea is that it happened in a normal, run-of-the-mill criminal court, just like we used to use. Can you remind us how he ended up in court, how we got here with him?
Exactly. Score one for the criminal justice system might be the sort of headline on this one. Ali al-Marri was picked up after 9/11 and was widely suspected of being a sleeper al-Qaeda agent who was dispatched to the United States, had come here on September 10th, 2001, and was believed to be plotting further a sort of second wave of attacks after 9/11. But rather than charging him in a criminal court, the Bush administration designated him an enemy combatant, stripped him of all his constitutional rights. He was legally in the United States with a green card. He was enrolled at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois, and threw him in a military brig, denied him access to a lawyer, subjected him to enhanced interrogation techniques. He wasn't waterboarded, but there were aggressive techniques used, and wasn't charged with any crime. So this was a part of a pattern that was emerging post 9/11. Jose Padilla, who was a U.S. citizen, had been previously designated an enemy combatant, essentially made an unperson, and this prompted a huge constitutional debate and contest as to whether or not a president can simply unilaterally strip somebody of his rights. This was teed up to go to the Supreme Court this January when Barack Obama took office, and the Obama administration terminated the Supreme Court case by taking him out of military brig, charging him with 2 counts of terrorism charges in Peoria. And today, amazingly, he pled guilty to some pretty significant set of facts, which we can get to in a moment. But the bottom line is, in less than 2 months, we've learned the truth about Ali al-Marri, which is that he was, in fact, an al-Qaeda sleeper agent, something that for the previous 5.5 years, the U.S. government had been unable to learn.
And we learned it through the normal criminal justice system without modification, thanks to 9/11. In terms of what he confessed to, what he pled to, we know that he said he was in regular contact with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the supposed mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. I wonder, Mike, if that means that al-Marri could be used as a witness against Khalid Sheikh Mohammed if Khalid Sheikh Mohammed ever goes on trial.
Right, exactly. That may be the most significant part of this. First of all, I should say that the facts here are pretty significant, and people are going to find them hair-raising. This guy attended an Afghan training camp, met Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, was dispatched by Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to the United States with specific instructions to get here by September 10th. He wasn't told why. It was just so get in the country by September 10th. He was given $10,000 by one of the financiers of the 9/11 attacks, and then upon getting here was in communication with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, had done research about cyanide gases for a potential cyanide gas attack in the United States. So this guy was, in fact, the dangerous dude that a lot of law enforcement and intelligence officials thought he was all along. In that sense, the Bush administration could argue we've been vindicated here. But the fact is it was only learned through the criminal justice system. Now, as a result of this guilty plea, Ali al-Marri can be called into federal court at a trial of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and asked to simply recite the facts that he pled guilty to today. And as a result, the criminal justice system, the Justice Department, is going to have direct evidence against Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as a al-Qaeda conspirator trying to attack the United States without having to use any of the tainted evidence it got through waterboarding and the other enhanced interrogation techniques they used against Khalid Sheikh Mohammed.
So we end up at the end of this, after all of these years and all of these constitutional crises, one after the other provoked by this system, ending up being able to charge people and bring evidence against them as if we are a normal country under the rule of law.
Right. That's exactly the point the Obama administration has been trying to make. Yes.
Michael Isikoff, MSNBC contributor, investigative correspondent for Newsweek magazine, invaluable source for us. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rachel.